Hello and welcome to Let the Record Show, a Civil Law podcast. I'm Calley, attorney at Civil Law, where we help you through life's transitions. Today, I'm going to give some answers to the common question, should I put my parents in a nursing home? But first, just a reminder, if you have any questions about this topic or anything regarding estate planning, probate, and more, you can visit our website, www.civillaw.com, for our blog and more resources to help you. So I'm just going to start off and say that this is a really hard topic to discuss. And I hear a lot of clients say, oh, I'm never going into a nursing home, or I'll never put mom and dad into a nursing home, which is all good in theory, but sometimes it really is inevitable. So it really is helpful to address the topic head on and to understand, when it might be necessary to start considering nursing home, assisted living facilities, etc. So a lot of questions that I get is, when does a person need long-term care? What are the signs? A person needs long-term care when they can no longer independently care for themselves, or their condition is such that a relative or other person can't care for the person either. It's just too big of a job, like lifting the person from the chair to the toilet, etc. Some signs of this can be you are actually scared to leave them alone, like they leave burners on. Electric blankets are another thing that freaks me out. Old people love electric blankets, but they can be so dangerous if not operated properly. My great-grandpa had a terrible habit of just leaving his electric blanket on all day. He would crank it up to 10, even in July. So that was something that we really, really had to watch and make sure that things like that were turned off, and that, he was being properly cared for. Another thing is if they are violent or agitated to the point where it becomes an issue of their safety or the safety of someone else. I had a case once upon a time with an older gentleman who there were some teenagers outside his house just being stupid kids. They weren't doing anything particularly wrong. They were just being stupid kids. And the gentleman decided that he was going to put an end to that, and he took out his shotgun and started firing at them. He was later diagnosed with early onset dementia, and had a real problem with impulse control and rational thinking. So that's a really scary scenario, but I wanted to talk about it because it can happen, and it's something that you definitely need to be aware of. Also, another really scary one is if they have a tendency to wander off, if they can't remember where they're going or where they live. That's really dangerous too. And it's especially dangerous for, say, here in Illinois, because we have so many variations in temperature. Someone could wander off when it is 90 degrees. And as you know, in Illinois, it could drop down below freezing within, a few hours. So it's really, really important to make sure that they have the ability to remember where they're going, where they live, and how to get help if they're lost. Another question that everybody asks me is, where can I find anything on selecting the right nursing home? Are there programs to help afford nursing homes? So the best advice that I have for anybody is to read reviews. Read reviews, talk to friends. Here at the firm, we like to keep our own little lists of nursing homes. When somebody comes in and they says, yeah, I took mom to such and such place and I loved it, I always write that down, because chances are somebody else is going to be in here the next week saying, I just don't know where I can start looking. So I can give them that and say, you know what, I heard that such and such place was really good. Make sure that you check it out. You want to go to these places. With COVID, I understand that it's a little bit more difficult, but you definitely at least drive around. If you can go inside the facility, go inside the facility. Talk to staff members, talk to, residents, look around, make sure that there's adequate security. Did they check your temperature before you came in? Could you grab someone and run away with an old person? I was in a nursing home once that I could have walked out with anybody. So I definitely would not recommend that place. So you want to make sure to do your due diligence. And there are also consultants who will work with you to help you find the right place for you and your loved one. And if you need recommendations, we have their contact information here in our office. So you're always welcome to give us a call, and we can point you in the right direction. And yes, nursing homes are expensive. As far as offsetting the cost of a nursing home, because in 2022, the average cost per month is anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 per month, not per year, per month. So that adds up pretty quickly. So what can you do to offset the cost? So if the patient or their spouse served in the military during wartime, they can be eligible for certain VA benefits, which will help offset the monthly cost of a nursing home. And then there's Medicaid, which is a whole podcast topic on our own, and I'm sure we're going to get to it. But that is an available resource. It's very complex, so I'm probably not going to get into it right now, but I do want to make you aware that it is out there. Another consideration that I always like to talk to people about is that if you're in the position where you're anticipating to private pay, meaning pay out of pocket for nursing home care for a time and then switch to Medicaid, it's a good idea to make sure that the facility accepts Medicaid so you're not forced to move your family member and disrupt them. That can be a really, really traumatic process, not only for the person being moved, but for their family as well, because it can be very upsetting to see your family member so upset. So that's a really big consideration that I always want people to keep in mind. Another question I get a lot is, what other kinds of long-term care are there, and are they any better than nursing home? So again, here comes the legal term. It depends. There are other kinds of long-term care, and this will depend largely on the person being cared for. So you can have in-home health care, which can be more costly than a traditional nursing home, which is kind of counterintuitive, but it can be. Also, you have a compatibility issue. So if the person who's being cared for doesn't like their in-home health person, they're going to get agitated and they're going to complain, and they're going to make it not so nice of a situation for the worker and for themselves, which can lead to, the worker quitting and you having a gap in care. And staffing is also a big issue. As you can see, positions are open across all employers right now, and in-home healthcare is no different. So there could be inconsistencies in staffers or changes that an older person may not appreciate. And for people who maybe aren't as advanced in their conditions as some, they may just need somebody to stop by once a day to make sure that they've eaten and are clean. That can be a family member, or just some other kind of professional, maybe somebody, on their way home from work just stops by just to make sure that everything's on the up and up. One thing that we did when we were caring for my great-grandpa was we ordered Meals on Wheels for him. He didn't need that. We kept him plenty well fed. I think he put on a few pounds after my great-grandma died, but it was just someone who came every day and actually laid eyes on him. So that was really helpful, and that really helped kind of pick up the gaps whenever a member of our family couldn't be there. And for awesome listeners of this episode, we have a special offer. We will be giving you 10% off your estate plan if you mention Let the Record Show. So that is it. Remember, if you have any questions about this topic or anything regarding estate planning, probate, or more, you can visit our website, www.civialaw.com, for our blog and more resources. I'm Calley Mize, attorney at Civia Law, where we help you through life's transitions.